Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing on this beautiful Wednesday, hump day? I pray that all is well. I pray that your morning gotten off to an amazing start, but if not, hit that reset button and simply start all over again. I pray that you have something to be thankful for, something to be grateful for. I understand sometimes when we are in the struggle, when we are in the wilderness, when we are in a season of isolation, sometimes it's hard to find something to be grateful for, something to be thankful for. But what God is teaching me, that in those moments you're drawing nigh to Him, you're drawing closer to Him, you're learning more about Him. And I'm grateful this morning, even through my wilderness season, even through my struggling season, even through my lack season, even through my isolation season, even through my alone season, I found myself knowing Him on a whole nother level. And in that season of isolation, that's what you should be doing, is learning more about Him. I have learned so much about Him that now when I hear songs, they are no longer lyrics. They have become my reality. You hear people sing songs, I know Him as a provider. You don't know what that looks like until He is actually your provider. And I never thought that I would have found myself in such a situation where I had to completely lean and depend on Him. Some people say, well, you know, you could have done this, you could have done that. You could apply for this, you could apply for that. But when you are in a season, when God has put you in a season of trusting and leaning and depending on Him, it's not much you can do. It seemed like everything I tried to do, I wanted to do, I went about trying to do, all doors was closed. Until I got to the point where I just said, not my will. Not my will, but your will be done in my life. Just as Jesus did. When He realized that the cup of suffering was not going to pass. When He realized that cup of sacrifice was not going to pass. Even after going away by Himself, praying and pleading and asking God to do something else with that cup. Even after going to the disciples, seeing if they would just help pray, He realized, this is just something I got to go through. You have to get to a place where you just say, not my will. This is not anything that I asked for. This is not anything that I prayed for. This is not anything that I fast for. It's not even my will. So the moment He realized that nothing was going to change, no new doors was going to open, the cup was not going to be placed in anyone else's hand, the cup was not going to be put on no one else's table, He realized that that cup was personalized just for Him. And the moment you and I get to the place of realizing that our cup is personalized, and it's not even equipped or personalized or made for anyone else. But God knew what he was doing when he chose me. He knew exactly what he was doing when he chose you. You may feel like, listen, I don't know how much more of this I can take. You said it right. You don't know, but God knows. Why? Because he knows what he put in you. So even in those moments where you want to give up, you find yourself steadily showing up. In those moments where you want to just throw in the towel, you find yourself looking for the towel. When you're in that moment, when you're faced with that moment where you want to just walk away, you find yourself walking to it. See, when God has called you, he has equipped you. And his word is just like fire. You cannot talk about the goodness of the Lord. You can't stop talking about what he's done for you, how he delivered you, what he brought you out of. You just can't do it. You may have gotten to the place where you said, I'm not doing another live. I'm not getting back on stage. I'm not going to accept any more invitations. I'm not going on nobody else's platform speaking. I'm not doing any of that. I'm done. And then you find yourself back at it again. My Lord. My Lord. God is going to get what he sent Jesus to get. Because it's not about you and I, it's about souls. And we have to get to the place where we move self, where we remove our feelings out the way. And simply allow God to just be God, just to be who he is. And I've had to do that, and I'm going to tell you, it don't feel good. It's very uncomfortable. Sometime late in the midnight hour, you find yourself in tears. And you're saying, Lord, I don't understand. This doesn't make any sense. Why me? How did I get here? I was doing somewhat okay. How did I get here? God knows exactly what he's doing. It doesn't have to make sense to you and I, but he knows exactly what he's doing. All he's looking for you and I to do is to be faithful. See, when we made a commitment to him, none of us know how that was going to look. We didn't know what we was going to have to give up. We didn't know what we was going to have to walk away from. We didn't know fully what we was going to have to let go of, what we was going to have to stop doing. We didn't have the full picture. But the closer you begin to follow him, you'll begin to see things and people drop off, fall off. I thank God for my season of isolation, not because it felt good, but it was for my good. Because there was things that I needed to know about me. There was things that I needed to know about others. There was things I needed to know about life. There was things I needed to know about him. And sometimes he has to pull you away. Sometimes You have to go into that season of isolation. You have to go in that season of protection. Because when he's trying to elevate you, when he's trying to get you somewhere, he don't want you to be contaminated. He don't want you to be influenced. He don't want you to lose focus. He don't want you to get off track. So that's the moment he pulls you into his protection. I wanted to stop by this morning and just give someone a word of encouragement that might be facing some difficulties. You're faced with some challenges in your life, some challenges that you've never been challenged with before. You're in a season of isolation. You're in a season of lack. You're in a season of two fish and 5 loaves. That season you just can't seem to make ends meet. You're in that season you don't know if you want to continue to move forward or if you want to just throw in the towel and just walk away. I come to let you know that there is a reason for that season. There is a reason for that season. Sometimes we get so focused on the storm. We get so focused on the problem. We get so focused on the situation. We get so focused on the struggle. Until God is trying to get you and I to see the bigger picture. God is saying, I'm trying to take you somewhere. I'm trying to elevate you. I'm trying to strengthen you. But in order to do those things, you have to be tested. I can't just take you into war and you have not been tested. I can't put you on the front line and you have not been tested. So there are some things you have to go through. There are some things you have to walk through. You in training. So that whenever you are faced with a trial or a tribulation on another level, you'll know how to deal with it. New levels bring out new devils. And if you're not trained, they're going to overtake you. They're going to overpower you. So you have to be trained for the mission. I know it doesn't make sense. I know in your carnal mind you feel like God could have went a different way. He could have done it differently, but you're not God. I'm not God. He does things the way he wants to do it. Why? Because he sit high and he looks low. He knows the future. And if he said, this is the best way you need to go, then it just is what it is. It doesn't matter whether or not you understand it or I understand it or they understand it. He just said, this is the way we going. That's the way we got to go. So if you found yourself in that season and the struggle is real, you don't understand and it seems like people don't understand. But just know God knows exactly what he's doing. And you are right where God wants you to be. It may not look like it. It may not feel like it. It may not smell like it. But you are right where God wants you to be. Your story is God's glory. Your story is God's glory. Thanks for hopping on. I pray that you're able to come all the way in the room. But if not, I'm going to try to speak up a little louder so that you can hear me, those that are sitting on the outside. Because I want you to be encouraged as well. I don't need to see you, God see you. But I thank God for you being here, and those that will catch the replay, I thank God for you as well. The title of this word is making you stronger. Your trials, they didn't come to destroy you. They come to make you. They come to strengthen you. They come to encourage you. Making you stronger. And the reference scripture we're going to be using is Isaiah 41:10. Isaiah 41:10. And it reads as follows. Do not fear anything, for I am with you. Do not be afraid. See, he's encouraging you and I. You're not alone. You're not walking this journey by yourself. You're not in that fire by yourself. You're not in that situation by yourself. You're not going through that circumstance by yourself. You're not going through that divorce by yourself. You're not going through those family issues by yourself. You're not going through the job issues by yourself. I'm with you. For I am your God. Capital G. I'm your God. I got you. If I am for you, who can be against you? I know it feels like people is against you. I know it feels like things is against you. But he said, for I am your God. If I am with you, who can be against you? I will strengthen you. Stop looking for strength from people. Stop looking for strength from things and stuff. He said, I will strengthen you. The strength comes from him. Be assured, I will help you. I know sometimes you feel like you don't have any help. You don't have any support. But he said, I will help you. I will certainly take hold of you with my righteous right hand. That's a hand of justice, of power, of victory, of salvation. He's letting you know, I got you covered. 180 degrees, I got you covered. I got your back. You don't have to worry. I got you. I'm fighting for you. I fought for you. You're already victorious. Don't let the enemy tell you that you're not. Stop looking at where you are. Look at where you're going. Stand on God's promises. Stand on God, the dream God gave you. Stand on the vision that he gave you. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter what they say about it. Whose report? Whose report are you going to believe this morning? I know what the doctor said. I know the results. I know what the x-ray looked like. But what did God say about it? I know they said you wasn't going to get the promotion. I know they said you didn't qualify. But what did God say? What did he show you? I know you don't think you're going to get the house because your credit say you don't qualify. But what did God say? I know you don't think that you're going to get the home. But what did God say? God said he will give you things that you didn't even build. You didn't even work for it. He said, but I got it waiting for you. But you have to trust me like that. You have to believe me like that. See, it's just a few of us that God is saying, I need to use you as my vessel because I need to show the unbelievers what I can do. Are you willing to allow God to use you in a capacity in which people is not going to believe that it's him? That is him using you. That is him instructing you to go this way or to go that way. All he's looking for is a few people that are willing to just be faithful. It's easy to say what you'll do out of your mouth until he starts telling you to do it, to move in it, to walk in it, to build it, to open it, to apply for it. And you know yourself, All odds are against you. But he's saying apply for it anyway. Open it anyway. Try it anyway. Go for it anyway. He's trying to show you and I who he is. And that he is the source of everything. Everything that you and I have, it belongs to him. I know you think it's yours. I know because you work for it, you think you own it. But I come to bust your bubble today that nothing we have, we will ever own it. We are just in possession of it. We are just caretakers of it. But we will never own it. He is the source of our everything. And there's a few of us that he has chosen to get glory in being our complete source. It don't make sense. It's not the norm. I understand it's not how you got it. I understand it's not how you received it. I understand you had to go to this university and that college and this college. I understand that. I understand you had to go through this and go through that before you could open your doors. I understand that. I understand they said you needed this and you needed that to qualify. I understand that. But God is saying, do I have just a few people? Do I have just a few vessels that I can use, that I can show people what I can do? I had an individual was sharing their testimony with me, and I'm going to get into this. If you need to go, I completely understand. And she was saying how when they got ready to move, they tried to move probably about an hour away. And they could not get approved for whatever house or whatever they was trying to get. They could not get approved. So when they launched out into the deep, God said, I need you to go somewhere where you don't even think that you're qualified. Where you don't even think that you're good enough. Where you don't even believe I'll open the door for you. I need you to launch out into something that's bigger, that's greater, that's mightier than yourself. I need you to launch out into something where you're going to need me. So when they launched out, and they went somewhere where they said they need 3 times the rent in order to qualify, they was approved. But they couldn't get approved from somewhere locally, where they didn't have to have 2 times the rent, 3 times the rent. See, that's how God showed who he is. But you got to be willing to trust him like that. Now, somebody would have said, girl, I wouldn't even try to do that. You already know you can't afford that. You already know you can't get that. But you need to be around those that will say, my God, our God can do anything. My God, our God can do the impossible. If they ain't talking that, you need to go the other way. Because so many people say God can do anything until he start trying to do anything in your life. Now he's limited. He said he's the same God. Yesterday, today, and forevermore. Now we changing him. Now he's changing. When it comes to you, now he's changing. When it comes to you, he can't do the impossible. When it comes to you, he can't open that door. The devil is a lie. He said, there's no respect of person. I'm not, listen, I'm not like y'all. If I do it for one, if I do it for him, I can do it for her. And I thank God. I'm going to read this. I'm going to get on out your way. I just want to encourage you that whatever you may be facing today, you're not alone. You're not alone. He's with you. He sees you. And he is concerned. But he said, when you come out on the other side of this, it's going to make sense. Your story is for my glory. Your story is for my glory. God chose Israel through Abraham because he wanted to, not because the people deserved it. Although God chose the Israelites to represent him to the world, they failed to do this. So God punished them and sent them into captivity. Now all believers are God's chosen people, and all share the responsibility of representing him to the world. We have a responsibility. We are representing God. When we allow him to be God's over our lives, we are representing him. It's not about us. That's the thing. We got to stop making it about us. One day, God will bring all his faithful people together. We need not fear because God is with us. I am with you. 2, God has established a relationship with us. I am your God. That's the relationship. And 3, God gives us assurance of his strength, help, and victory over sin and death. Have you realized all the ways God has helped you? I think if you will just take a moment and you look back over your life and you see everything that God has done for you, everything that God has brought you through, all the danger God has spared you from. He's an awesome God. But it's just certain things, certain areas of our lives that we have not surrendered to him because we don't trust him in those areas. We don't trust him in providing if he say, leave that job. I told you about the young lady. God told her to leave her corporate job. Then she had a career. He eventually told her, shut that down. That's done. That's over with. That was for a season. Now I'm moving you into a season of trusting me, coming out of the world system and into God's system. It's going to look a little different. But you're going to be able to have freedom. You're not going to have to worry about clocking in and out. No one telling you when you can and when you can go to break and when your break is up. See, this is where God is trying to get many of us. But we're so stuck on doing it the world's way that we don't trust God to do it his way. So we will remain in the world system. But God is trying to do a new thing. Not many people perceive it. Not many people's going to believe it. Why? Because they say they trust God, but they really don't. They really don't. Let me get into this. Making you stronger. In the book of Isaiah, we see God speaking through the prophet to the people and encouraging them not to fear what they were going through, because he was going to use it to make them stronger. You don't have to fear what you're going through. You don't have to fear what you're facing. You don't have to fear what it looks like. You don't have to fear what it smells like. They thought Lazarus was dead because there was a stench. There was an odor. It wasn't very pleasant. So when you smell something, you know this thing, it's got to be dead. It doesn't start to decay. You may be in a situation and it has started to decay. Things are starting to break. Things are starting to fall. Things are starting to loosen. People is able to now see what you're going through. People are now able to see what you're facing. People are now able to see what you're losing. People is now able to see who's walking away. But you're right where God wants you to be. He said when it came to Lazarus, I think it said he stayed an extra 4 days or an extra day, whatever it was. He wanted to make sure it was good and dead and that it stunk. God is making sure your situation that is good and dead, that it done flatline, that people's looking up on you and saying, she dead. People looking up on him and saying, he dead. You right where he wants you. But he's going to use that. Right now, he's just setting the stage. Right now, he's just setting the table. Right now, he's just getting his audience together. Your story is his glory. He was going to use it to make them stronger. This is another example of God's promise to us. What we go through to make us more mature and better than we were before. Anytime you go into a trial or a tribulation or whatever it may be, you're always going to go in one way, but you're going to come out another way. That's how it works. You heard them sing this song, you won't leave here like you came. In Jesus' name. If you allow him to do the work, you're not going to be the same person that you was when you went in. You're going to have more knowledge. You're going to have more wisdom. You're going to have more understanding. You're going to have more faith. You're on another level. You know him now on another level. See, when you pass from 8th grade to high school, you're on another level. There's no going back. I've never heard nobody say that when in high school said they wanted to go back to elementary. No, they looking forward to getting out of high school. You're going to be more mature. You're going to be better than what you was before you went into that thing. Before you got on that potter's wheel. But this all hinge on whether or not we are willing to put our total trust in God concerning painful things we encounter in life. Let me read that again. This is another example of God's promise to us. This is another example of God's promise to use what we go through to make us more mature and better than we were before. He's trying to mature you. He's trying to make you better. He's trying to get you to level up. But this all hinges on whether or not, it's a choice, we are willing to put our total trust in God concerning painful things we encounter in life. We're going to encounter some painful things. We're going to encounter some things that we didn't ask for. We're going to encounter things that was not our fault. Not our fault. We're going to encounter things that we didn't ask for. But God said, I can use that though. I know you don't want anyone to know, but I can use that. I know you don't want anyone to know that you don't have enough, but I can use that. I know you don't want anyone to know that you don't have it all together, but I can use that. I know you're going through in your marriage, but he said, but I can use that. I know you're going through in your home, he said, but I can use that. I know you're going through in your health, he said, but I can use that. I know your children is acting up and you don't want nobody to know it, but he said, but I can use that. The painful things of life, God is telling you and I can use that. I can do something with that. Whatever you might be going through right now, this promise is for you. Your enemies may mean harm. Let me read that again. Your enemies, they may be out to take you down. They may be out to take you out. Everybody is not for you. Everybody's not going to be happy for you. Everybody's not going to support you. Everybody's not going to have your back, but that's okay. He said your enemies may mean harm, but God will work it out for your good. He's going to turn it around, Lazarus. He's going to turn it around. But he needs you and I to trust him. He needs you and I to have faith in him. He's not looking for you and I to have it all together. Because what he's asking you and I to do, he knows we're not going to have what all it takes. We're going to need him. Your enemies may mean harm, but God will work it out for good. And in the process, he will make you a better person. God is just trying to make you and I a better person, a better version of ourselves. If we can just get out of the way, if we can just move self, if we can stop acting like we know it all because we got a PhD behind our name, if we can just move ourselves out of the way because we're now got the title doctor, if we can just move self out of the way, he's saying, I'm trying to bring forth, I'm trying to birth the version of you that I created. I'm trying to move the world's creation of you. And I'm trying to bring you forward into the version that I need you to be. God is doing a new thing. Not everyone is going to receive it because they don't believe him like that. They don't trust him like that. Everybody that hollers and screams they trust God, they haven't been tested. They haven't been tested yet. They just sing in lyrics. Lord, I trust you. Lord, I trust my life with you. Lord, I trust my job with you. Lord, I trust my finances with you. Until he tell you to quit that job. until he tell you to shut down your business. Now your faith, now your trust is wavering, but you were just telling everybody in Sunday service that you're trusting. That because you hadn't been tested. So I'm one of those ones, I'm not too quick to get I'm not too quick to believe everything people say. I'm just one of those ones. I'm just not she. I can only take you at your word if you have been tested. Here's today's thought. When life is painful and hard, remember that God loves you, and because of that, you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to live in fear. You don't have to wonder what's going to happen. Is this going to work out? Is that door going to open? Because he said that he's with you. No matter what it may look like, get your eyes on God. And if God called you to it, he's going to bring you through it. If he told you to open it, if he told you to start it, if he told you to apply for it, if he told you to go for it, obey God. Obedience is better than the sacrifice. God is looking for those that are going to be obedient. Certain doors can only open, certain blessings you can only get by you being obedient. When she obeyed, when she left her corporate job, when she shut down the business that God had given her because the season for that was up, she could have missed where God has her now. But because she trusted him, because she had a relationship with him, because she had had other encounters with him, she knew that she could trust him. She knew that she could believe in him. And her life is better off now than it was. She didn't know what all God had planned on the other side of her obedience. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has it entered into the heart of man what God is trying to do in my life and in your life. It's going to take us trusting him on another level. See, David realized that he couldn't fight Goliath. He couldn't go up against Goliath wearing what someone else wore. He realized that he wasn't going to be successful doing it the way somebody else did it. Oh, he was willing to try it. He began to put on that identity of someone else. But he quickly realized, this is not how God told me to do it. This is not how God told me to show up. This is not what God told me to use. God is saying, how did he tell you to show up? What did he tell you to take? What did he tell you that you would need? It doesn't matter how no one else got it. It doesn't matter what no one else had to do before they got it. What is God telling you to do? How is God instructing you to move? Which direction is He telling you to go in? Because it's going to be just the opposite of what someone else did. God will tell you to do something to the carnal mind. It just don't even make any sense. You can't hardly even wrap your mind, Lord. Why you want me to do that? Why you want me to do it this way? Because He tells us to do things in a certain way because He's trying to get attention of the unbelievers. Noah, when He told Noah to build an ark, He knew people was going to start talking. He knew people was going to be making fun and cracking jokes, but He had their attention. God is telling you to go apply for that home. He may tell you to take someone. He may have someone to take you that know your story. They may not be saying nothing, but they may be thinking to myself, yeah, I'm going to take you, but you already know you ain't going to get that house. You ain't even working. So then what they do when they drop you off, they'll go call people and say, girl, do you know I just took Sister Yolanda to go apply for a house? I already know she ain't gonna get it because she ain't got this and she ain't got that and she can't do this and she can't do that. I already know she ain't gonna get it. And then when you hang up with them, then that person that you was on the phone with, they gonna call somebody. You see where I'm going? So God will have you to do things that don't make sense in front of those that's going to talk about you. But God needs the word to get out. He needs people to know that you're trying to apply for something that you don't qualify for. Are you following me? He needs to get the word out. Hey, she's applying for this home and she don't have steady income. What you think gonna happen? People gonna come and have a seat. They there for the showdown. They there for the decline. They there for the not approve. You'll get an audience on stuff like that. But the moment they all get there and get seated, you'll get the keys. Because God is trying to show who He is. And what we have to understand, everything belongs to God. It doesn't matter who's in possession of it. It doesn't matter who's in office that can make certain decisions. None of that matters. If God said it's yours, it's yours. If God said, I want you to live in it, you're going to live in it. If God said, I want you to drive it, you're going to drive it. Why? Because everything belongs to Him. Once we get that, we won't find it so hard to believe that someone can get something that they didn't work for. It wouldn't be so hard for us to believe that people can get something that they didn't build. It wouldn't be so hard to believe that people got something that they didn't qualify for. If we just believe and understand that everything belongs to God. And if He said, it's yours, it's yours. It doesn't matter who is sitting on the board. It doesn't matter who's going to make the decision. It doesn't matter who's going to get the application. It doesn't matter. He said, if He is for you, who can be against you? When He has said it's yours, who can turn around and say it's not? But do you trust him like that? Are you willing to allow him to use your story for his glory? Are you willing to go through that season of lack to show that he is a provider? Are you willing to walk off that job when he said, I got you covered. I got something better for you? Are you willing to do it his way? So that he can show the unbelievers, the naysayers, who he is. He's trying to show them who he is and what he can do. But he needs vessels to do it. Are you willing to go through that season with your 2 fish and your 5 loaves? Are you willing to go through that season of casting your net, doing all you can, but not catching anything? Are you willing to go through that season of drought? Are you willing to go through that season where it looks like all odds are against you? Are you willing to go through that season where this is being taken, that's being taken, this being shut off? Are you willing to go through a season like that? Your story is his glory. What you're going through, what you're facing, what you're up against, he's going to use it for his glory. If any of you have been on any of my lives, and I have shared that testimony with the mother that was trying to save her home, and she began to work 2 jobs trying to save her home, doing what a mother does, sacrificing, not asking anyone for anything, just trying to do it by herself. And the more she worked, the further behind she got. That's how God works. Sometimes the more you pray, the worse it gets. The more she worked, 2 jobs, more hours, she was getting further behind. Until the point she just went to her kids and just said, look at here. Listen, I done all I can do. But nothing I'm doing, did you catch that? Nothing I'm doing is working. We gotta move. We gotta start packing. We gotta get ready to go. The moment she moved herself out of the way. The moment she realized that this thing was bigger than her. The moment she realized that the 2 jobs just didn't cut it. The moment she realized that the overtime and all the hours, it made no difference. That's when God was able to come in and be God in her situation. But he couldn't do it because she was in the way. Have you ever been in a small kitchen trying to cook and there's two or three other people in there and you're bumping into one another? See me, I get frustrated and just going out the kitchen, just say, well, look, I'll just go sit down until everybody else get done. Because I don't like to, keep bumping into folks. So God had to just let her just come to herself and realize I can't do this by myself. They had start preparing to move. The house went into foreclosure. They started having a open house. God spoke to this young lady that he knew would obey him. Told her to go to this open house. She knew she wasn't on no market for no home. But she was being obedient. She goes and look at the house. It didn't say whether or not she asked the lady any questions or did she just go look at the house like others and left. A few days later, God gave her instructions to go to the bank, pay the house off with his money. Even though she was in possession of it, even though it was in her bank account, the money belonged to God. He said, go get my money, go pay the house off, and give her the deeds. It didn't say she second guessed, she thought about it. I can't remember all that. All I know is she obeyed. Can I just say that? Not everybody is obeying God like that. Some things God has told some people to do and they still questioning. That's because they don't want to do it. But she obeyed God. She went and paid whatever the payoff was. Went back to the mother's home, knocked on the door, and said, your house is paid off. Here is the deed. Can you imagine how that mother felt? That she no longer had to toil. She no longer had to work 2 jobs. She no longer had to work all those extra hours. She was able now to be home with her children. Your obedience means something. God is trying to set someone free. God is trying to get someone out of bondage. But because you are not willing to be obedient, oh, God is still going to set them free. But he gives you an opportunity. Because you being obedient, you're going to be blessed for being obedient. So he's not going to just not deliver somebody because you don't want to obey him. He just go to somebody else that will. But he gave you an opportunity. Because he was wanting to grant some prayers that you've been praying about. So he's saying, listen, if you go do this, I'll do that. And because of her obedience, she was blessed. Her life was blessed more than it was before she did that. But not everyone is willing to step out and obey God. I'm sure that mother fell to her knees. I know I would have. Because now she realizes I don't have to have all those pressure. I don't have to have anxiety. I don't have to have those sleepless nights. I don't have to have those days where I don't know if I'm coming or going because I'm working 2 jobs. I'm not able to be there for my children. Because that other young lady chose to be obedient. God was able to bless them both. She could have sacrificed and said, you know what? Get somebody else to do it. I ain't living in the house. I'm not going to benefit from it. But you are going to benefit from it. You may not be living in the house, but you're going to benefit. Your obedience is what's going to give you benefits. God is looking for those that will simply obey him. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to make any sense. It may cause you to step back and scratch your head. Depending on what he's asking you to do, you may go on a fast for 40 days and 40 nights. See, when you're doing all of that, it's because you really don't want to do it. And don't let it involve money. Folks will go on a fast for 40 days and 40 nights. But when you understand that everything belongs to God, you won't have no problem with releasing it. You won't have no problem obeying God when you understand that it's not even yours. She was able to do what she did because she realized it don't belong to me no way. It's not mine no way. I'm just in possession of it. But when the master, when the owner say go do XYZ, I gotta do XYZ. It's just like if somebody came to me and they say, Sister Yolanda, I want you to hold this $1,000 for me. Just put it away and until I come back and get it, or if I instruct you to do something else with it. And then they call me and they say, Yolanda, take $500 of that $500 of that money and give it to such and such and so and so. What right do I have to get an attitude and get mad? That money don't belong to me. I was entrusted to just hold the money, but it didn't make it mine because I was in possession of it. Am I making myself clear? I know ain't nobody gonna say nothing, you know, in the chat, but is that making sense? Why would I get upset because he has instructed me to take the money and give it to someone? Now I'm upset because I feel like that the money he's telling me to give to this individual, they don't deserve it. I don't think they worth it. Let them get the money some other kind of way. That ain't got nothing to do with me. If you call and say, take the money here, I'm going to take the money there. Or get $500, I'm going to send them about how they're going to come and get it. Give it to them. What is you arguing about? It don't even belong to you. That's the same way. Everything belongs to God. And whatever he has allowed you to be in possession of, you just in possession of it. You don't own it. And if he's saying go do X, Y, Z, there's a reason why he's asking you to do it. Because what you have been praying for might be attached to you obeying him in that moment. See, we don't know how God is going to answer our prayers. A lot of prayers are answered just by being obedient. Lord, bless me with more finances. Lord, open up that door. And you may have $300. He may say, take 150 of them and do 6 and so on. So, well, wait a minute, Lord. Now, wait a minute. Now, that's cutting into what I need to do. He's testing you. It's just a test. It's just a test. If he asks you to do it, it's because he knows you got it to do it. He's not going to ask you to give $150 if he know you ain't got it. Now he know you got it and just don't want to give it. But he know you got it. And he said, I'm testing you. I'm just trying to see if you're going to be obedient. Because You're just in possession of it. What is God asking you to do? And you still haven't done it. Because you don't trust him like that. You don't have faith in him like that. Whoever God is telling you to bless, you don't feel like they deserve it. You don't feel like, in your opinion, they have earned it. You may be in possession of it, but that don't mean you deserve it. God may have just allowed you to be in possession of it because God is trying to teach you something. God has many ways of testing his children. Testing our integrity. Testing our heart. Just as he did the man in the Bible. He had great wealth, everything. His instruction was to sell it. Give to the poor and just follow God. He couldn't do it. He walked away sorrowful. He said, if I got to give up what I've worked for, if I got to give away what I've worked for, I can't do that. I refuse to do it. Some people are refusing to obey God. And you're not understanding. You're holding up your blessing. You holding it up. You delaying it. Because God is asking you to do something. And you won't do it. Obedience is better than sacrifice. God is looking for those that are just willing to be obedient. Again, I pray something was said that will cause you to look at what you're going through, what you're facing, what you're up against through a different lens. God is elevating you. God is taking you to higher heights. God is leveling you up. God is trying to make you stronger. But you have to be tested. You have to be ready. You have to be fit. You have to be equipped. Because you're going to need to show up a different way than the way you showed up before. He's preparing you for this next, for this new. But you got to be willing. You got to be willing to allow God to be God. And some people may think that there's no hope. The sister said, had you just came sooner, he would still be living. If you had showed up yesterday, I would have lights. If you have showed up yesterday, I would have water. If you have showed up yesterday, they wouldn't have took my vehicle. If you had showed up yesterday, I wouldn't be in foreclosure. If you had showed up yesterday, but it chose to show up today, it's still going to work out for your good. Because your story is his glory. Now, the chatter is gone. Did you know her lights off? Did you know her car got took? Do you know her home is in foreclosure? He said, bring them on. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. And then before you know it, when he have all those that he have chosen to be sitting at your table, you're going to get everything back. And then some. And then some. But God needed an audience. It was important to have an audience to see things being took. And then God gonna have an audience when He give it all back. And then some. You're learning who God is. But it's going to take going through some things that's going to get a lot of people's attention. It's going to get a lot of people to talking. It's going to take a lot of people saying, where's her God now? She says she's obeying God, but look at what's happening. Look at what's going on. Trust God anyway, because it's not about you. It's not about me. It's about His glory. And the story has already been written out. We came along too late to change it. All we can do is walk it out for His glory. Speak life. Speak life over yourself, over your friends, over your family, over your foes. Those that gave up on you, pushed you aside. They said you'll never make it out. They said you'll never make it through. Speak life over them as well. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. God is trying to open new doors. But it's going to take you moving self. It's going to take you believing and trusting Him on another level. It's going to take you being okay, being talked about, being laughed at, being made fun of, being the topic of conversation. It's going to take that. It's going to take people driving by to see, is it true? It's going to take people calling to see, is it true? It's going to take all that. There was an audience when the Hebrew boys was thrown into the fire. Some, I'm sure, was friends and family. But even in that, God may not even allow them to help. God may be saying, no, I need you to go in the fire because I'm in control of the temperature. So the Hebrew boys said, we're not going to bow, we're not going to compromise, we're not going to worship, we're not going to do any of that. No, I don't want to go in this situation. No, I don't want no one to know that I'm struggling. I don't want no one to know that I'm going through. I don't want no, I just don't want nobody to know. You know how we are. But God is saying, go in the fire. The only way you're going to get this blessing, you got to go in the fire. Because there are some things I'm going to be doing through you and for you in the fire. I need people to know that you can go in the fire and come out and not smelling like smoke. You won't even look like that you've been in a fire. Because I'm going to bless you that good. I'm going to reward you that good. That they're going to be talking more about the reward and the blessing than the fire you just came out of. That's what God wants to do. But you got to get in that fire. You got to go in the fire. You got to say, where is it? Where's the pit? Where's the flames? You got to be willing to go through it. You got to be willing. And it doesn't feel good. But it's going to work out It's going to work out for your good. You may say, well, Yolanda, how is that even? So that don't even make sense. Noah built that ark in a place where it hadn't even rained. And because of his obedience, because he didn't allow the chatter and the laughter to stop him, everyone that came in, they were saved. And those that stood out and made fun and laughed, they didn't make it. Build it anyway, Noah. Open it up anyway, Noah. Start it anyway, Noah. Create it anyway, Noah. Apply for it anyway, Noah. Put in for it anyway, Noah. We have to be obedient. Because there is certain blessing that only comes through our obedience. Noah could have just said, you know what? There's no reason for me to build this ark. There hasn't been any rain. This just sounds foolish. I'm not even going to even mess with it. He would have been swept away. But because he obeyed God, he was saved. And there was many others that were saved as well. Because they believe if he's doing this, it had to be someone higher than him telling him to do this. So there may be some people that may believe in you. They may not verbally come up and tell you, but they're going to be saved. They're going to be rescued. They may be, because they silently believe that what you're doing, you're obeying God. Obey God. I don't care how hard it is. I don't care how difficult it may seem. I don't care if it just look like it's just going to be you. I don't care who all going to talk about you or put you down. Whatever God is asking you to do, do it. There's a reason. There's a purpose. Your obedience is attached to the prayers that you've been praying about, that you've been crying about, that you've been fasting about. God needs you and I to be obedient. It's better than a sacrifice. Until next time, God is just trying to make you and I stronger. He's trying to elevate us. New levels bring about new devils. And if you have not been trained, you won't make it. You won't survive. Again, speak life. That's what's going to get you and I through, is speaking life and having faith. Because what we speak is what we harvest. There's no sense of going out and wondering why. Why you see corn when you know that's what you planted. The only thing that's going to come up is what you planted. I got to go. Until next time, everyone have an amazing day. Again, thanks for hopping on. I can't pronounce these names. I do see Brother Chad. God bless you. Thanks for hopping on. So glad to see you. The other two names, I'm not going to try it. But God bless you. And to everyone that's sitting on the outside, I pray that something was said. I hope that I spoke loud enough that you was able to hear, and that you know God is just trying to make you stronger. Everyone have an amazing day. God bless.